गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भवानी शंकरौ वन्दे श्रद्धा विश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्थमीश्वरम्। स्तुति मौनी निंदा मौनी स्तुति मौनी निंदा मौनी स्तुति मौनी निंदा मौनी। अरुण किरण ध्यान मौनी अरुण किरण ध्यान मौनी ध्यान मौनी। संध्या तरुण प्रार्थना ज्ञानी वचन प्रवचन विशेष ज्ञानी। स्तुति मौनी निंदा मौनी स्तुति मौनी निंदा मौनी। अरुण किरण ध्यान मौनी अरुण किरण ध्यान मौनी। संध्या तरुण प्रार्थना ज्ञानी वचन प्रवचन विशेषज्ञानी विशेषज्ञानी बंधमोचन बंधमोचन ज्ञान विज्ञानी ज्ञान विज्ञानी जनन मरण जनन मरण ज्ञान विज्ञानी ज्ञान विज्ञानी बंधमोचन ज्ञान विज्ञानी बंधमोचन ज्ञान विज्ञानी जनन मरण ज्ञान विज्ञानी जनन मरण ज्ञान विज्ञानी दिवारात्रि श्री राम ध्यानी दिवारात्रि श्री राम ध्यानी रामचरण रामचरण शरण संधानी शरण संधानी दिवारात्रि श्री राम ध्यानी दिवारात्रि श्री राम ध्यानी रामचरण शरण संधानी रामचरण शरण संधानी स्तुति मौनी निंदा मौनी अरुण किरण ध्यान मौनी दिवारात्रि श्री राम ध्यानी रामचरण शरण संधानी रामचरण शरण संधानी शरण संधानी The Namasmarana once again depicts about the beautiful principle-based character which we can understand through his expressive behavior. Stuti Mauni Ninda Mauni, meaning whenever anybody criticized Mahatma Gandhi, he was quiet, he welcomed it. He never said, "Why are you doing this to me? What do you think of me? Do you know how much of following is there? Do you know how many people WhatsApp for me?" Never. He even smiled and welcomed. All the people who fought with him, criticized him, troubled him, after spending some time with him in discussion, they only tell they were wrong. But even otherwise also he never bothered. Stuti also Mauni. Not that if somebody praised it, he got elated, overjoyed, uncontrollable upsurge of some emotional feeling like what it happens to you and I. It never happened. He is just same in both. Like the Sthita Prajna. Real Sthita Prajna, same in both. That is why Stuti Mauni Ninda Mauni Aruna Kirana Dhyana Mauni. The same silence, the same quietude which he experiences in the early morning or in the Brahma Muhurta, in the meditation. The same silence of the meditation, the same quietude that he experiences in meditation, it remains with him in criticism as well as in praise. Sandhya Taruna Prardhana Jnani. Every day in the evening he used to conduct prayer meetings. And in those prayer meetings, not only that there were few selected bhajans which Mahatma Gandhiji liked, but Gandhiji used to teach people. And whatever he teaches, it is only uplifting people towards a very high level of unity and oneness. That is why Sandhya Taruna Prardhana Jnani. He is such a Jnani. Only in the prayer meetings people will come to know when he speaks in the evening times. Vachana Pravachana Visesha Jnani. And at times when he has to really teach people, uplift the masses and transport them to a very high dimension of understanding, he will do it because he has got Visesha Jnana. Not ordinary knowledge, very unique and special knowledge. Bandhamochana Jnana Vijnani. Two kinds of Bandhamochana. We were already in bondage and slavery, and he is the one who knows how to lead people from bondage to freedom from the British. That is one meaning. Another meaning, he knows people why they are tied down to emotions, negativities, limitations, and he also trains them to transcend them. Both. Bandhamochana Jnana Vijnani. The knowledge of Bandhamochana, in that he is specialized. Jnana Vijnani, he has the wisdom in that. And not only that, he made people understand how to look at others in the freedom fighting. Not only that, whenever anybody attacks you also, how to look at them, how to accept the situation, how to face it boldly, daringly, courageously, with no hatred, no ill will, no violence, no anger. Janana Marana Jnana Vijnani. By himself, in himself he knows this is only a fleeting, a passing moment, like a passing shadow, the birth and death. And he told the people also same thing. He made them understand this and then face death as if it is a very unimportant matter. Divaratri Sri Rama Dhyani. Continuously he was only in the contemplation of Sri Rama. Without that God, he never did anything. Ramacharana Sarana Sandhani. Constantly focused, continuously yoked onto the feet of Ramachandra. In surrender. Ramacharana Sharana Sandhani. Completely surrendered at the feet of Ramachandra. Mahatma Gandhiji, actually how much ever we try to tell, it is very short of what he is. And what he was discovered to be by the people who were in his times, not only of India, but all around the world. In every country, there were admirers of Mahatma Gandhi. Because decades of service to the humanity, not 1 year, 2 years. Decades of continuous service. The moment when he started in South Africa, till he got freedom for India, constantly in service for the humanity, for the society. Only through love and truth. Very, 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 very rare. As we had been seeing every day, how great people express their views about Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhiji says, to me, God is truth and love. To me, God is ethics and morality. To me, God is fearlessness. And to me, God is all things to all people. See the statements. What level of evolution he is into. To me, God is truth and love, ethics and morality, fearlessness, all things to all people. And God is very forgiving because He gives us a chance to repent. Mahatma Gandhiji says, God is very forgiving because He gives us a chance to repent. There is a chance. Suppose hastily, suppose unknowingly, suppose inadvertently, something has happened and we don't know what we did, and then we are reminded later on by others that this is what has happened. We can repent. God gives us a chance to repent. And Gandhiji says in his own unique style, God is the greatest democrat of the world. God is the greatest democrat that the world knows. How does he say that? He says, God is the greatest democrat the world knows because He leaves us unfettered. No chains, no binding, no conditioning. He leaves us unfettered in making our choice between good and evil. In making our choice between good and evil, He leaves us unfettered. Where can we find a bigger democrat than God, according to Gandhiji, who gives us absolute freedom? You do as you like, whatever you choose, you do it. Where can we find such a freedom? And that freedom alone really helps us to grow, learn, get maturity, progress, come out of limitations. What a great understanding Mahatma Ji has. Gandhiji says, I believe in the absolute oneness of God, therefore in humanity, therefore of humanity. I believe in absolute oneness of God, therefore of humanity. So he believes in the absolute oneness of humanity. Why? He believes in the absolute oneness of God. God alone is humanity. God alone is everything in this expression. God alone has manifested everything out of Him into this creation. So that is why Mahatma Gandhiji believes God alone has everything in the humanity. Oneness of the humanity. That is why for him it is only oneness. There is no division, there is no separation, there is no demarcation. There is nothing higher, nothing lower, nothing great, nothing less. In his view, in his highest viewpoint. And he continues to say, what though we may have many bodies, but one soul. Like due to refraction, there are many rays of one sun. This is Gandhiji's example. Due to refraction, there are many rays of one sun. Rays are many, but sun is one. They all belong to one sun. So Mahatma Gandhiji feels we all belong to one source and there is only one soul, and that is God in all of us. And that is why he says, I cannot detach myself from the most wickedest soul. Because for him everything is one. God alone is humanity. There is only oneness. So Gandhiji says, I cannot detach myself from the most wickedest soul. At the same time, I cannot be prevented from identifying with the most virtuous one. See him. For him, the most virtuous soul and the most wickedest soul, both are one. He is connected with both. Why? Because in them, he doesn't restrict his view or way of looking at them confined to body, mind, intellect, memory and ego. He sees through them, he sees beyond them. He recognizes the presence of the divine. He values that divine. He knows that divine as one in all. So from that standpoint, for him, the lowest of the lowliest also is same. So he takes him close, just as virtuous one. But for others, all good, nice, noble, great are very close. Others are not close. At least that is more noble. But for others, only those who are more favorable to me are close, otherwise not close. But for Gandhiji, it is not like that. Virtuous soul and wicked soul both are same. Gandhiji says, I am endeavoring to see God through service of humanity. He wants to see God, endeavoring to see God through service of humanity. Not by sitting and meditating, not by going into seclusion and retiring into forest and caves. Not like that. Through service of humanity, he is endeavoring to see God. And Gandhiji says, for I know God is not in heaven. I know God is not in heaven or below down, but in everyone. What a statement. For I know God is neither in heaven nor down below, but in everyone. According to Gandhiji, God is not in heaven nor down below, but in everyone. He sees God in everyone. God in all. All of our Upanishads speak this only. And when Gandhiji says this, to what level his consciousness has gone and what he is communicating to people. Just think of it. Highest possible knowledge and understanding. And viewing, not merely understanding, not seeing God in oneself, seated in one place and then saying that God is everywhere. He goes into people, faces the situations, good, bad, tough and easy, rough and tough, whatever might be the situation, most difficult, most fearful, most frightening also, he goes and directly handles the situation. He doesn't sit anywhere and send others. He is a man to lead from the forefront. He just goes alone. He doesn't even believe in numbers. He goes. He doesn't wait for anybody. He just goes. And Gandhiji says, if I have to make a choice between counting the rosary, Japamala, or spinning the wheel, out of which he used to make the cotton threads, he says, I will choose spinning the wheel to turning the Japamala, rosary. As long as there is poverty and starvation stalking on the land, so long I will choose only spinning the wheel. What a compassionate personality. What clarity in choice. If he is given the choice, you want to sit and do Japamala or just go and serve the society, he will choose serving the society. He will want to work for the sake of the society. Through service, he wants to see God. Very rare personality. That is what is required for the progress of a nation, for the development of the society, for the progress of the community, for the upliftment of everybody. That is what is required. Once, Mahatma Gandhiji was raising funds in Orissa for Khadi project. He was meeting many people and then contacting them, communicating to them the importance of the Khadi, etc. And there was one meeting that day. And in the meeting, he was discussing with lot of people. One old woman came to see him. Fully grey hair, very old woman came to see him. And she had a very tough time with the volunteers to get opportunity to move closer to meet Gandhiji. Few of the volunteers who were serving by their own choice there. So then, this woman also had a humpback. Probably volunteers also had their own choices of likes and dislikes, so did not allow this woman to go at all. But finally somehow she struggled and came. And when Gandhiji was there, she said, Mahatma ji, I want to see you. So Gandhiji went closer to her. She took out one half anna coin. According to various calculations, what I have seen is Anna is 6 Naya Paise. Half Anna means 3 Naya Paise. When Annas were there, Naya Paisas were not there. Later on calculation. So half Anna coin from her waist, and she placed it at the feet of Mahatma Gandhiji, did her prostration, and then looked into the eyes of Mahatma Ji with reverence and left. That is all she did. The moment she did prostration, placed that coin and she left, Mahatma Gandhiji bends down and picks up that coin and keeps it in his dhoti, keeps it with himself. Jamanlal Bajaj was there along with Gandhiji. He was taking care of writing the checks and giving these receipts and then donations and all that, collecting the checks and all. So Jamanlal Bajaj says, please give me. Gandhiji says, no, this I will not give you. And Jamanlal Bajaj says, I am handling checks worth thousands and thousands of rupees, and you are not going to trust me with this half anna? And Mahatma Gandhiji says, I cannot give it to you because this half anna coin is worth lakhs of rupees. Mahatma Gandhiji, half anna coin is worth lakhs of rupees. If a person who is having a lot of money, crores or lakhs of rupees, if he gives 1,000, it is possible for him, so he is giving. It is also a good donation, he gives, that is fine. But this woman, hardly she can earn, and out of that she gave half anna. Those days anna to anna means very great, and for that lady in that penury, poverty, earn something and out of that give half anna to Mahatma Gandhiji. So Gandhiji says, this is extraordinary. This coin of the poor lady is worth millions of rupees. Just imagine how generous she might be. That is why she came and gave. Great people know the feeling that is there in the heart. It is not the amount that is given. I recollect one situation where Gurudev was returned from the foreign tour and he was received in the ashram, and at that time there were sweepers who were there. One of the sweeper, again an elderly lady, goes to Swamiji as he comes and tries to prostrate and hands over few coins to him. And Gurudev also did exactly the same. He took it and kept it. And later on he told, this is more precious. Why? Because they hardly earn and then they want to give, they want to contribute. That feeling is very important. So Mahatma Gandhiji was giving so much of importance to the genuine feeling inside the individual. No matter to what level they belong to what status economically or socially they are, he was treating them with a different heart and mind. Once it so happened, while Gandhiji was in Yaravada jail, Kasturba Gandhi came to meet him as a visitor. So visitors were allowed to meet the prisoners for a while. So the jailer came and informed Gandhiji, and then he took him there to the meeting place. And the jailer stood there, and both of them started talking. They inquired about each other, how are they and how things are. Meanwhile, the jailer felt two pious souls are discussing. They all know what is the purity and piousness of Mahatma Gandhiji and Kasturba. She was also fully involved into the movement. So he went away from there, and then at a distance, he went to a distance and started walking here and there, just to leave them to themselves so that they can discuss. And after a while, he comes, after giving certain amount of time, he comes and then smiles at Gandhiji and said, hope you had a very good talk, discussion. Gandhiji says, In your presence, only we conversed with each other. The moment you left and you are walking there at a distance, we kept mum, we did not speak. He says, why? Gandhiji says, you know the rules very well. The rule says, we have to talk. A prisoner can talk with a visitor only in the presence of the officer. How can we go against the rule? You are not there, so we didn't talk. We just stood. Look to what extent Mahatma Ji follows the rules, obeys the law. What he has to obey, what he has to follow, he follows. And when he had defied the law, it is only for the sake of enhancing the dignity of the people, bringing the people from slavery and bondage into the freedom. That is the only reason. He defied, he disobeyed. So, Gandhiji and his principles are absolutely perfect and clear. And Gandhiji says, the main purpose of life is to live rightly, think rightly, and act rightly. Live, think, and act rightly. That is the main purpose of the life. And Gandhiji says, there are times when we have to obey the call from the above, from the higher consciousness, from the inner conscience. The call comes to you, and the voice of conscience will speak, and we obey. We have to obey the higher call, and it may cost many a bitter tear, and even more separation from friends, separation from family, separation from many other things, and also separation from the most dearest things that one considers them to be. You have to accept that call and live and sacrifice and move on. This is what is the law of our being, this kind of obedience. This is what Mahatma Gandhiji taught people. A higher call must be obeyed. That is why when he gave a call for the sake of the nation, be ready to sacrifice everything, people did. People immediately did. Not that they got immediately anything, but they did. They loved the ideal so much. And Gandhiji continued to say, it is proper for us to attack the system which is not acceptable to us. The system which is not good, which is not really for the good of the people. It is quite proper to resist and attack a system. But to resist and attack its author is tantamount to resisting and attacking oneself. Resistance and attack Gandhiji never directed towards persons, only towards system. Because here Gandhiji says, all of us are children of God. In all of us, divinity is there. So, if we understand this, in every one of us divinity is there and divine powers are there. Divine presence is there. So if we disregard anybody, neglect anybody, disdain anybody, scorn at anybody, if we slight anybody, it is doing the same to the divine powers that are there inside, to the divinity that is there inside. So, not only that when we disdain others, when we scorn others, when we neglect others, we are not only neglecting the God in them, but because God alone is everything, we are neglecting the whole world. See the philosophy of Gandhiji. If you attack one person, if you resist and attack one person, that is attacking oneself. Why? Because same presence is there. You yourself are there in that person also. There is nobody else. What is there in you is there in the other person. And what is there in both of you is God. That is divine. So when you attack somebody like that, you are attacking God, and through that you are attacking the whole world. So never attack individuals. So he never ever in thought, word and deed attacked or allowed people to attack through his teachings. With the higher understanding, when he was guiding people, they were open in their hearts to receive that guidance and follow it. Gandhiji says about service rendered without joy helps neither the servant nor the served. Service rendered without joy, inner joy, helps neither the servant nor the served. But all other pleasures and possessions pale into nothingness. All other pleasures and possessions pale and fade away, meaning they pale into nothingness, fade away into nothingness before the service which is rendered with joy, rendered in joy. Meaning the amount of happiness we experience when we render our service in joy, the amount of contentment and satisfaction we derive, in front of that, all pleasures and possessions fade into nothingness, pale into nothingness. That glorious or great or important is the service that can be done in joy. Enjoy the service, not feel it as a burden, not think why I have to do, not to say how long I have to do, and why not others do, why should I do. If any service that is rendered by us is becoming heavy or burdensome or giving stress or causing us tensed or giving us lot of trouble, it is mainly because we are not enjoying doing the service. When we enjoy doing the service, no other possession, no other pleasure can really attract us and fascinate us and distract us and divert us and pull us and tie us down. Because we are so much in joy inside. By seeing the divine, by serving selflessly, we will be able to enjoy. In Nagpur, All India Conference was going on inside one cottage. Gandhiji was in that conference with many people. Outside the cottage, with the volunteers, one Marwadi couple were having an altercation, argument, a kind of brawl, for a chance to meet Gandhiji. And while this conference was going on, they heard, Gandhiji also heard that. And one volunteer informed. And then, in that meeting, Vallabhbhai Patel ji also was there. So, Vallabhbhai Patel asked the volunteers, send them inside. Gandhiji will see them. At the same time, another volunteer came running into the cottage. The other volunteers led the Marwari couple inside because Vallabhbhai Patel ji said Gandhiji will see them, so they are coming. Same time another volunteer comes running and then directly goes to Gandhiji and then says something about something that has happened. In Nagpur, there were so many camps from different places because they were planning for the non-cooperation movement and all. So, one camp of Bengalis, in Bengali camp, something happened. So, he came and told Gandhiji. Before he completed whatever he has to say, Gandhiji got up immediately because he was always in that loins cloth, got up and then looked around, picked up one cloth, sheet of cloth which was there, just pick it up, and then while walking, he is trying to wear it around. He is walking out of the cottage. The moment he heard, he is walking out. And this Marwadi couple came inside after a long struggle. So the lady holds that one corner of that cloth, sheet of cloth which Gandhiji is trying to take and then go, holds it and says, I want to talk to you. I came inside after a long struggle, I want to talk to you. And Gandhiji is focused in going out. He who was taking that sheet of cloth left it and then went. He left the cloth and went away. And Vallabhbhai Patelji says, he is like that. When he comes to know about certain things that have happened there, even if the greatest wealth is there with him at that time, he will leave and go away. If he is carrying a purse, he will leave the purse and then wealth and money and go away. And someone else said, Gandhiji going there, after he heard the message, it is like at the time of the call from Gajendra, he was caught by the crocodile and he was offering prayers to Bhagavan Vishnu. Vishnu Bhagavan also suddenly got up and he started going. He also did not bother to wear anything. He did not pick up Shanku, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, nothing. And he did not inform Lakshmi ji. He was just going because he has to save. He has to attend to that personally, directly. Because the call is such. Like that, somebody described, Gandhiji also is going like that. So Gandhiji goes straight. It was such a chilling cold at that time. So nothing on the top also, because that lady caught and he left and went away. And Gandhiji goes to that Bengali camp and then tells all the people assembled there, all those who are not Bengalis who are in the camp, please for some time, please leave and then go. They all go away. Then he picks up a stool and he stands on the stool. And what happened there at that point of time is, one person, Das Babu from Bengal, at his own expense, brought 250 people from Bengal to that Bengal camp with a view to protest against Mahatma Gandhi giving a call for non-cooperation movement. He wanted to protest, brought 250 people, and which was being opposed by Banerjee. Das Babu got 250 people and is opposing. Banerjee is supporting Gandhiji's non-cooperation movement. Both belong to Bengal camp. And both were fighting. So Gandhiji places the stool, stands on it. And then he says, I am the cause for all this. Neither you are cause nor you are cause. I am the cause for all this. Because of me, this has happened. So, if you all want to hit anybody, each other or anybody, hit me on the head. He shows. Hit me on the head. Because I am the cause. Because of me only this moment. It is I who gave the call. And because of me this is happening. It is not because of you. He is not blaming Das Babu. He is not saying anything to Banerjee. He stands there and says, hit me. The moment Mahatma Gandhi said like that, both stopped arguing and fighting. And then Mahatma Gandhi called Das Babu and started talking with him, discussing with him, spent time and explained to him what is what. This is the great quality of Gandhiji. Anybody who did not understand him, whether they come there to oppose him or fight him or finish him, it doesn't matter. He will give time to them and talk to them. No fear, not afraid, and doesn't say, why I have to tell you. Anybody coming to oppose Gandhiji, fight with Gandhiji, quarrel with Gandhiji, there are occasions where people came to kill Gandhiji. Even then, he will talk to them. He will discuss with them. The courage the compassion, the love, the understanding, the kindness, at the same time boldness to stand for what he stands for, at the same time concern for the other person. Where can we find so many qualities? All manifesting in one person? Very, very, very rare. So then he started discussing with Das Babu, and after some time, then Das Babu was the person who proposed non-cooperation movement in the meeting. I propose for this. He who brought 250 people to oppose, after Gandhiji spent time and discussed it, he only proposed. What a character, what a quality Mahatma Gandhiji has. He knows that once people are given clarity, they will be totally different in their understanding, in their behavior. So Gandhiji feels, I should bring clarity to their thinking. In this given point of time, they are behaving like this because they understand it that way. Same thing he did, when he landed in Durban and when people came pelting stones, brickbatting, kicking, all that they did to Gandhiji in South Africa because they believed that Gandhiji made false statements against them and defamed them. Gandhiji just accepted. When other police officer and other politician, powerful persons came and said, identify, we will prosecute. He said, no, I will not prosecute any one of them. Because they thought that I told something against them. And that is why they reacted like this. They are fine. Because they thought the day when they know the truth, they will only feel sorry for their behavior. And they knew the very next day and everybody felt sorry. He is ready to die also, but he will not compromise with values. Compromise with what qualities he has, what principles he has. Death is nothing for him. That is why yesterday we saw Gandhiji saying death is like a passing, span of life itself is like a passing shadow, ever fleeting. So, Gandhiji says, I greatly value people who abuse me. Do you find anybody saying like that? Very rarely. I greatly value people who abuse me. Why? He tells the reason. Thereby, their hearts are cleansed. Their hearts become pure. Once they bring it out and abuse me, inside nothing will be there. Hearts are clear. So they become pure. I want their purity. That is very important. It is like God. Bhagavan Sri Krishna we have seen. Abuse people. He will keep on smiling. Because it never affects him. So Gandhiji was like that. He valued people who abused him because people who abuse, their hearts are clean. And he says, I like critics 1,000 times better than those who worship me and applaud me. I like critics 1,000 times better than those who worship me and applaud me, but at the same time disregard what I say. Such people who worship and applaud but disregard what Gandhiji says. They don't do it. They simply worship and applaud. Gandhiji feels critics are better than that 1,000 times. And he also says, probably somebody might have asked him, how you can welcome everybody like this and take everybody close. He says, the knowledge of the omnipresence of God, the knowledge of omnipresence, meaning present everywhere, omnipresence of God also means respect for the lives of opponents and respect for the lives of gundas also, in the words of Gandhiji. Because in opponents also God is present, in gundas also God is present. Omnipresence of God, if you recognize, you can't exclude opponents and gundas and others. Because God is all pervading, so He is all pervading, He is in them also. Their mind, intellect, memory, ego might be polluted, might be distracted, might be low, and that is different. But in them, same divinity is there. The truth is that that God is the force and God is the essence of life. God is purity and God is undefiled consciousness. God is eternal, according to Gandhiji. God is eternal, undefiled consciousness, pure. He is the essence of life and He is the force. He sees the presence of godliness everywhere. He knows to see the universal and all-pervading spirit of truth face to face. Gandhiji says, one must be able to love the meanest of the creation. The meanest of the creation we should be able to love, to see the universal and all-pervading spirit of truth face to face. Gandhiji said, God answers prayers. It is for sure Gandhiji believes God answers prayers in His own way and not our way. God answers prayers in His own way. And God alone is immortal, God alone is imperishable. The sum total of all that lives is God, according to Gandhiji. The sum total of all that lives is God. We may not be God, Gandhiji clearly says, we may not be God, but we are of God. The sum total of all that lives is God. We may not be God, but we are of God, even as a little drop of water is of the ocean. A little drop of the water is of the ocean. It is of the ocean only. It is the ocean. That way, Gandhiji feels the sum total of all that lives is God. We may not be God, but we are of God. That is how he recognizes absolute oneness. That is how he understands the Advaita, oneness. Even the great masters of Advaita also made it very clear. From the individual standpoint, you are not different from that consciousness. Meaning, you are not that who created Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. You are one with it. You are not different from it. You are not other than it. Because that alone is everything. So you can't be anything other than that. That you are. That doesn't mean that only you are. You are that. That divinity which is there, that is divinity, that is there. And that alone brought you into manifestation. So you cannot be different from that. Ocean is there. Drop of water is not different from ocean. Drop of water cannot be other than ocean. Drop of water is not replacing the ocean. Remember that. Drop of water is not going to replace the ocean and say, I am the ocean. No. You are not different from the ocean. You belong to the ocean. You are the ocean. You are of the ocean. Like that we are of the God. In South Africa, in Johannesburg, Gandhiji was conducting a meeting of Indian people and all supporters. We have already discussed about that. At least 2 days about the events in South Africa, what Gandhiji did, how Gandhiji motivated the people and made people fight for their rights, because the policies of the British ruling there were unjust and they were insulting and humiliating the Indians in South Africa. So he brought them up to a level of dignity in their living in South Africa. So the meeting was going on. All the supporters arranged the meeting and hall was overcrowded, overflowing. People were standing in the entrance, in the lobbies, outside the door, wherever they found place, they were standing. And Mahatma Gandhiji was the chief orator for that meeting. After that meeting, Mahatma Gandhiji stepped down from the dais. Then he talked to few people who were around, and slowly he had to leave the place and go out. And on one side of the hall, there was more darkness because it was the evening time, more darkness. And as Gandhiji was leaving, he saw one person in darkness there. And along with Gandhiji at that time, Millie Graham Pollack was the person who was accompanying Gandhiji. So Millie Graham Pollack said all this. So Gandhiji looked at that person and said, "Let me see. Who is that?" And then he went. Gandhiji went. This Pollack was there, but Gandhiji went into the darkness, spent some time. This Pollack was observing, Millie Graham Pollack, that youngster looked like an youngster in the darkness. He was handing over something to Gandhiji. Gandhiji took it and then came back. And this Millie Graham Pollack asked, "What was it? Anything special? You left me here and then went there. What was it? Is there anything special?" Mahatma Gandhiji calmly replied, "Yes." Meaning it was special. He wanted to kill me. Just see how Gandhiji interacts, how deals with the situation. He wanted to kill me. And when he heard, Millie Graham Pollack, when he heard it, he was shocked. "It's horrible! Trying to kill you? Was he mad? Was he out of the mind?" Mahatma Gandhiji said, "No, he is not out of the mind. He thinks I was deceiving people and teaming up with the government in South Africa, and I am going to harm the Indians, and yet I call myself as the leader." That is what he was thinking of me. Then Millie Graham Pollack says, "You should have handed him over to police." Mahatma Gandhiji again coolly replies, "See, he is neither mad nor out of mind. He has misunderstood things. He did not understand properly. So I tried to make him understand." He brought a knife to kill Gandhiji. He was waiting in the dark, pounce and then stab. Such a person, in such a moment, Gandhiji goes alone, meets him, knows what he wants, and discussed with him, made him understand why he was conducting the meeting, how he is going to help the Indians there, and why he is not teaming up with the government. He clarified. And after that, that youngster felt sorry and gave that knife to Gandhiji. And Gandhiji held that knife and came back. And Millie Graham Pollack is dumbfounded. What is this person up to? Somebody is standing there to kill you, and he wants to finish you. You go and talk to that person, discuss with the person, compassionately, kindly explain everything to the person. And what happened afterwards? Gandhiji said, "Yes, I did." But what happened afterwards? He gave and left. And Gandhiji says, "You who said I should have called police, you know what would have happened? If I call police, he would have become my enemy. Now he is my friend." Now see Gandhiji. Now he is my friend. He gave away the knife, he is my friend. You just think he risks everything for the sake of principles. And because of his magnanimous, pure personality, the vibrations are such that when he goes and compassionately interacts, in that very presence, the other people melt. And he explains, they understand. Mind becomes clear and they leave. Not once. Many incidents are like that. Mahatma Gandhiji. When he faces anything, he just goes and deals with the people. Straight dealing. He goes into that and he deals with the people. So out of a person who is inimical, who tried to kill him, he made a friend of him. Converted into a friend. Transformation into a friend. What a kind of personality. What Mahatma Gandhiji is. Can the present day politicians think of doing such thing? Dare to do that? Just think. Constantly blaming, blame. If you listen to them, 90% of their talk is to prove that they are greater than others and blame others. And Mahatma Gandhiji never attack individuals, never blame individuals. What a character. And he won like that. He led the movement like that. That is why the Britishers, against whom he was fighting, individually they all respect him and welcome him. Because individually he is very, very cordial and normal with them. Because he respects, he loves, he deals with them as his own. Because God alone is there. They all understand Gandhi is a different personality. He fights only for the cause. Great people opinioned that before Gandhiji, revolution was based on violence, hatred, revenge, untruth. Before Gandhiji, revolutions in the world were based on violence, hatred, revenge and untruth. People used to take to any means to achieve the aim. Nobody used to give importance to the means. And because it was violent revolution, only the people who know how to use weapons, they only used to participate. But when Gandhiji came to the scene, the whole character of revolution underwent a change. Means are most important and means are divine. Means are noble. Means are pure. Uncompromisingly. Truth and love and ahimsa, non-violence. What means? Totally different dimension to the revolution. He conducted a movement of social change based on non-violence and truth and pure means, and the force he used, the soul force, Atma Shakti. That is all. Not the arms Shakti, weapon Shakti, soul force. Gandhian approach has transformed the face of the entire world, awakened a new consciousness with a desire for liberation of the mankind. John Hans Holmes says, Gandhiji can be remembered with Saint Francis, Thoreau, Tolstoy, and Gandhiji can be counted among the greatest messiahs of all times, along with Lao Tzu, Buddha, Zarathustra, and Christ. These are the words of John Hans Holmes. He can be counted along with Buddha, Christ, Zarathustra, Lao Tzu. He is like that. He has unbeatable sense of humor. We saw even General Smuts saying this. He always maintained humor, how much ever difficult situation he was facing. Unbeatable sense of humor. He possesses alluring simplicity, and John Hans Holmes says he is the Lord of peace. Lord, not an ordinary individual, he is the Lord of peace. He has the heart as soft as the flower. according to his view. He has the heart as soft as the flower, but his physique is as tough as the diamond. That is why it took all lathis, it took all stones, it took all brickbatting, it took everything. Heart is soft as the flower, body is as hard as the diamond, as tough as the diamond. He possesses transparent power of concentration. His worship of truth is unfluctuating. Have you not seen? How many people outside India recognized Mahatma Gandhiji's principles, character, values, what he stood for? They cannot but praise him. They cannot but recognize. They cannot but feel so happy that they were having opportunities to meet him, interact with him, at least know him and express their regard for him. How many people felt that they are blessed to be there? Even today there are people who feel they are blessed to know about Gandhi. So many movements around the world, so many people. In fact, even the people who led some movements in China, they also said, indirectly and directly, we are disciples of Gandhi. People who led movements afterwards, they all led movements in a different way. The whole character changed of the movement. Starting from Martin Luther King in America, onwards to many, many people in different countries. They all started understanding the importance of non-violence. You can fight, you can protest, but it is a non-violent way. Someone was telling about the study that person has made when two males bump into each other, about to bump into each other, how they respond and react, and when two females are about to bump into each other, how they respond. He said, first male who sees the other male is coming, seeing somewhere he is about to bump into him, he says, "Hey, watch it! You are going to bump into me." The second fellow says, "No, you watch it." First person said, "Hey, watch it." Second fellow says, "You watch it." And finally both of them bump into each other. When it is the question of females, the first one, it seems, says, "Oh, I am sorry. I am about to bump into you, I am sorry." Second one says, no, it is my fault. I did not see properly." Then the first one looks at the second one and says, "Hey, where did you get the shoes?" And afterwards both of them go for shopping. Meaning, it all depends upon the attitude with which we respond, what we have inside. It is only an example to say males and females. Actually, it is the attitude. It depends upon inner attitude, what we make out of any interaction. After the love marriage broke up, still husband and wife wanted to find out what reasons could be for their breakup. So even after they broke up the marriage, still together they went to an astrologer and asked for his guidance. What is this? Why it has happened? He studied and said to the husband, "You belong to water sign, according to horoscope, water sign." And looked at the wife and said, "You belong to earth sign." And both of you together made mud. Water and earth mix, made mud. That is why it broke. Meaning, if you really don't have concern and value for the other, regard for the other, then any relationship, any friendship, be it marriage, also breaks. We need to have the value for the person. Meaning, as Gandhiji said, who is inside the person? That we need to recognize. Then automatically value happens. It seems in one math cum science class, the teacher was trying to educate people in certain symbols. One symbol which we all know, English alphabet V, if you put it horizontally, one side it is like this, another side it is like this. So the teacher wrote with chalk piece like this and said, this is, actually the symbol is greater than. This way if you keep it, less than. So he wrote both and then looked at the students. Come on students, now I would like to ask you, what does this symbol stand for? And there was silence in the class. And one student got up after 10 minutes and said, fast forward and rewind. That fellow doesn't know less, greater than, less than. He is used to using the music system. Fast forward and rewind. There also the same sign is there. We look at the world through our limited knowledge and think that alone is real, which creates misunderstanding and conflicts. That is why we need to have right knowledge and true knowledge. As Gandhiji already said, true knowledge leads to happiness. Sat plus Chit is equal to Ananda. That's what Gandhiji interpreted. Sat, truth. Chit, knowledge. If you have true knowledge, you will be in happiness. If you have wrong knowledge, you will be in unhappiness, in misunderstanding, in conflicts. One person was in some legal tussle, so he called the lawyer. And then asked him, how much you charge for taking up a case? The lawyer said, actually, I charge 5,000 rupees for asking 3 questions. Then the person who was seeking the lawyer's help said, hey, it is very high fees, isn't it? The lawyer said, yes. Now what is your final question? He charged 3,000, 5,000 for 3 questions. First question is, how much you charge? Second question, is it not high? He said, yes. Now what is your final question? We do not know how others behave. There is no guarantee about others' thinking, others' value system. But in spite of that, irrespective of that, we need to maintain a positive bent of mind, and this will be possible only when we are charged up with positive values. One supervisor in a company who was given the responsibility of taking care of the attendance of the employees noticed that one woman for whole month every day came late. And the supervisor finally said, now this is enough. I thought you will improve next day, next day, next day. Every day you have come late. This is not acceptable and I am bound to take action against you. If I recommend something and write, you may lose everything. Mend your ways. Change this lazy habit of coming late. All employees are watching, and if they see that I am not taking any action against you, they will also start doing the same thing. I have to take action. It is unacceptable to me. And then she responded, I accept, I agree. And I also would like to offer a solution, she said. The supervisor asked her, what solution? Can I enter the office through another door? Meaning doesn't want to come on time. Can I enter the office through another door where you are not there? Any back door? Gandhiji always said, when somebody points out something, we need to look and check. That is why he was never angry against anybody who points out. Look inside, what is there? If there is a thing to be corrected, correct it. Gandhiji said once, there are 7 social issues which do not allow ahimsa to be practiced. Later on, you know what happened? Dean Carnegie of US, who teaches the Fortune 500 and so many other people, that institution, he took these 7 points into his 7 habits book, and then he highlighted them, and then he taught people principles and values through this. So Gandhiji highlights 7 things, 7 social issues. First one being politics without principles. It doesn't allow ahimsa, non-violence, to be practiced. Politics without principles. It implies utter selfish mentality and petty desires inside the political people, minds of the political. Petty desires, selfishness. No truth, no dependability, no trustworthiness on them. Is there any need for us to tell? Are we not seeing this? Huh? You tell, is there anybody who is really reliable? Very, very rarely we find such people. No truth in them, no reliability, no dependability, no trustworthiness, because there is selfishness and pettiness. When politics are without principles. So according to Gandhiji, that is not going to allow ahimsa, that is not going to allow value system, and that is not going to allow real service. So politics must have principles. Politicians must have principles. Ensuing principle is the duty of the politician, according to Gandhiji. Politician means principle based. Then only one has to be a politician. Suppose if like that politicians accept and really become principled, one principle each person, that is more than enough. Not that all principles, one principle. At least most of the time they have to follow the principle. That much alone will bring about so much of change. Just think of it. Why only politicians? Anywhere, political mind can be anywhere. Even in a spiritual institution also politicians can be there. Meaning political mind. So, politics without principles. Meaning principles must be there in politics. Wealth without work, second one. Wealth without work. It means extracting work without pay. Utilizing the ignorance of the people or by forcing the people. Using one's own force, you extract the work or utilize the ignorance of the people. Many times we come across this. There are some supervisors of the workers. Payment is given in full. And supervisors are the in charges for giving payment to the laborers and workers. They don't give it in full. They will take away their chunk. Why? They are their supervisors to supervise that only. Very wise. Supervise. Not supervise. Supervise. To take away all the money. Then what happens? Getting something for nothing. Meaning manipulating. That is what leads to manipulation. So that will not allow ahimsa. So meaning what? Wealth must be with work. Work and then get wealth. Wherever work is there, proper due wealth should go to them. That is what is clear. Third one, pleasure without conscience. When there is pleasure without conscience, it implies animalistic tendencies which bears no responsibility to peace in oneself, in family. Utterly neglecting the family, in the name of doing their things, getting pleasure as they like, neglect the children, neglect the spouses, wife or husband. Nowadays anything is possible. And neglect the responsibility and then experience pleasures and totally, finally make the family members not live life also properly. Fourth one, that means any pleasure enjoyed, it should be with conscience. And that will tell us what is the right way to go ahead. Knowledge, fourth one, knowledge without character. Knowledge without character means dangerous. Somebody said, it is like a ultra modern, fastest sports car given to a fellow who is drugged and drunk. What he will do? He will harm the people only. Knowledge without character. Without strong principled character, knowledge is dangerous. So we need character along with knowledge. Commerce without morality, fifth one. Commerce without morality. It implies money domination over workers, no fairness, no mutual benefit. So business should be with ethics. In other words, commerce should be with morality. Sixth one, science without humanity. If there is science, scientific advancement and progress without the concern for humanity, without that humanness, then we become victims of our own technocracy. Man becomes against humanity and we will become victims of our own scientific progress. Science has to have that humanness in its progress. And the seventh one, worship without sacrifice. Worship without sacrifice means no real sense of service or inner worship, only outer show. I pretend to worship. There is no real feeling of devotion towards God. Mechanically I worship. Pretension of worship. There is no real feeling. Active in rituals, inactive in spiritual teaching. Active in external rituals, outside show, pretension. Inside, nothing of the teaching is followed. No connectivity with God. No heartfelt devotional link with God. Mechanically I do. Gandhiji says, that is also not going to allow. Worship must be with sacrifice. You should have that Tyaga Bhavana. You should have that connective, heartfelt feeling. Worship has to be with sacrifice. Must be with sacrifice. So these are the 7 most important things. I think the Westerners made a lot of money out of this by teaching this to all corporates. But ultimate goodness is they taught values based on Gandhian teachings. And Gandhi's teachings are based on our scriptures only. Think of it. Khushwant Singh, a very famous journalist. Khushwant Singh. I think today also he was in news. He was famous, he is a famous journalist, very old, famous journalist. He has written varieties of articles, including joke books. Today his book was in news. Some romantic book he wrote, somebody took the rights to make it into a movie. Khushwant Singh, very famous journalist. He lived almost up to the age 100, I think. What he did, the Vaishnava Janato bhajan that is there, which is the famous bhajan of Gandhiji, which is written by Narsi Mahata of the 14th century, I think, 1450s, somewhere around, which was very famous bhajan. Gandhiji used to include it in his prayer meetings. Khushwant Singh gives his own translation of that, depicting Gandhiji in it. He says, a godlike man is one who feels another's pain, who shares another's sorrow. Godlike man is one who feels another's pain and who shares another's sorrow. And pride does disdain. Anybody having pride, it will only make others neglect. Who regards himself as the lowliest of the low, speaks not a word of evil against anyone. One who keeps himself steadfast in words, body and mind. Manasa, vacha, karmana. Blessed is the mother who gives birth to such a soul. Who looks upon everyone as his equal and has renounced the lust. And who honors woman like he honors his mother. Whose tongue knows not the taste of falsehood. Gandhiji never ever, not the tales of falsehood. After once he decided to take up the principles, never. Till his last breath, he never uttered falsehood. Nor covets another's worldly goods. He does not desire worldly things, for he treats the path of renunciation. Ever on his lips is the Rama's holy name. And all places of pilgrimage are within him. One who is not greedy and deceitful and has conquered lust and anger, through such a man, Saint Narsi has a godly vision. Generations to come of such a man will attain salvation. Whole thing he was aiming to depict the character and qualities of Gandhiji. How he also saw Mahatma Gandhiji. We are really blessed and very fortunate to be in this satsang where we spend this most precious and valuable time in knowing about the principles, values and life incidents of Mahatma Gandhiji. As we have mentioned, tomorrow will be the concluding day. We'll have Shantipat and then an announcement. Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatulyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Ramanama Varanane Rama 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 सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।